but hopefully.
We have 40 participants and it's slowly growing.
Oh, great. So we'll give it just hello, everyone. So we'll give it a few minutes. Well, not minutes, a minute or two for folks to join on, because I think they were just joining over. Is Ernie, are you here?
I am, Allison. I will be your co-pilot. I'll be your co-pilot for today.
Nice.
Just sit back and relax and enjoy the trip.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, we'll give it a minute or two more.
Ernie, I'm James Pascal. I'm just checking for Brownsville PD. Am I in the right group? I don't know if I clicked the right.
Sure. Why not?
Am I in the right group?
Are you with the Connect and Protect, one of the grantees with Connect and Protect? I believe you are.
Tropical Texas?
Yes, Brownsville, Texas.
Yes,
yeah.
you're
So I'm in the right group. I made it. Excellent.
You made it. Welcome, everybody.
I love my people. I love my people in the Valley. I was just down there in McAllen with Andy Harvey doing some speaking engagements.
All right, so it looks like I think we probably have most folks. Well, let me just ask before we start, is there anyone who thinks they should not be in this group, that they should be back in the JMHCP breakout? If you do think that, let us know in the chat. And I think probably you will have to back out and then rejoin, because the main room is where the JMHCP breakout is. But I think, let's see. All right. So I think we're all where we're supposed to be, which is great. So welcome, everyone. I echo Ernie's sentiments. So we're really excited to get to meet you today and to start working with you. And again, congratulations on receiving your award. It's as Maria and others mentioned, it's a competitive award, as competitive solicitation. So we're excited for you that you received the award. And I think, we introduced you met us a little bit earlier. We had some introductions, but my colleague Ernie and I both work for the Council of State Governments Justice Center. We're in the Behavioral Health Division. We're part of the leadership team for training and technical assistance here for federal grantees. And Ernie in particular leads our law enforcement portfolio. So, we're really excited to be here with you today. Next slide. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of an overview of this breakout session, and I'm mindful of the time. So first, we're going to do just some quick introductions and take a look at the group of you all, the 2022 Connect and Protect awardees, and just see a brief description of your area of focus. We're also going to provide some additional information around the technical assistance process for you all, TA for short. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the planning and implementation guide, TA plans, and also some communities of practice that we're going to be offering in the next year. And towards the end of this breakout time, we finish by 3:30 today Eastern time. So you can calculate that in the different time zones, but we have about a half an hour left. We want to make sure we have plenty of time for questions and answers. And before we wrap up, we're going to share some information about some upcoming webinars and resources, just so that you can have them available. And just before we switch off of this slide, just a quick housekeeping item. Again, I'll just encourage you, we're going to have a Q&A portion at the end, but we're definitely less formal here. So if you have questions, feel free to just, in the meantime, before we get there, please chat them in or put them in the Q&A box. Or actually, we just have a chat box here. So just put them in the chat box, any questions you have. We'll keep a running list of the content related questions. If you have technical questions or having any technical difficulties, please also put that in the chat box. We'll try our best to help you, but resolve that. But just as a reminder, we're going to be recording. We recorded the main webinar. We're also recording these breakout sessions. So we're going to be putting those recordings along with the slide decks up on our website in about a week or so. So you don't have to worry about scrambling to write a lot of notes. You'll have access to all of the slides and information there. Okay. So next, I'll just say next slide. And next, we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at the whole cohort of fiscal year 22 Connect and Protect grantees. So I'll turn it over to Ernie.
Yeah, so while we're looking at these, there's 3 slides of everybody here that's been represented. But if you don't mind, in the chat, could you just write down, chat in there, your name, your title, organization, and what jurisdiction you're with, and that way we can kind of take a look and welcome everybody, since we don't have the time to do it one by one.
I'm so sorry about that. I had a work emergency. What was the question you guys are asking?
What's your favorite book that you read? No, I'm just kidding. We're just asking you to identify yourself, just your name, title, organization, and jurisdiction, so we can welcome you as a new grantee.
Oh, well, I'm happy to go first. I'm Cheryl Newman-Tarwater. I'm the interim police chief at Chaffey College.
Cheryl. I know we're Twitter friends, but you got to put it in the chat.
Oh, put it in the chat. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to do that right now. Thank you, Twitter friend.
All right. And again, welcome everybody. We are glad to have you here. Allison, I will turn it back to you.
Sure, we can go through the next couple of slides so everyone can see the whole group. It's great to see some return grantees and also new ones. So welcome everybody. Okay. So, next we're going to just spend a little bit of time giving you a little more information about the resources that you will have available to you through the Connect and Protect Technical Assistance process, TA process for short. Next slide. So as was mentioned earlier, our agency, the Council of State Governments Justice Center, we're a separate agency from your funder, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, but our agency is the training and technical assistance provider for the Connect and Protect grantees, and also earlier years of grantees. So we're really excited to be working with you. And as a Connect and Protect grantee, you're going to have a variety of training and technical assistance components available to your team throughout the entire active cycle of your grant, which is 3 years at minimum. So you're going to have a TA coach who will be your main point. You're going to have a unique TA coach who will be your main point of contact for technical assistance. You're going to also have access to a lot of peer learning opportunities, including connection to current or past grantees who are doing similar work or may have faced similar challenges. And Ernie highlighted in the first part of the webinar the opportunity to connect with law enforcement mental health learning sites, which is an excellent opportunity as well. You're going to have access to really a huge variety of tools to assist with your project, including a lot of resources around best practices, training opportunities offered through BJA or our agency, the Justice Center, as well as other key partners. And you're also going to have access to, I don't want to toot people's horns, but to a lot of different experts, right? The TA coaches themselves have a wide range of expertise. We have fairly big staff here at the Justice Center, and so our colleagues are also a great resource and provide different areas of expertise. For example, we have colleagues that have expertise on working with women who have justice system involvement. Ernie is an expertise in terms of law enforcement practices, et cetera. So you really have a lot of people to bring to the table. We also work with external consultants through Connect and Protect. And so, you may have that opportunity to have these other experts come into the TA process, come onto calls as needed to be able to assist you in the work. Next slide. So as you can see on this slide, the TA coach is really going to be an important central hub for your team throughout the life of the grant, available to connect you to resources, activities that will support the planning and implementation phases of your project. So throughout the entire grant cycle, each team can expect to have monthly calls with your TA coach. And early in the planning phase, you'll be working, very intensively on the planning and implementation guide, this P&I guide for short, as we call it, which is a grant requirement. And I'm going to talk more, provide some more detail on that guide in a minute. But, an important point I wanted to make is that we really strive to be as individualized as possible through the TA process. So your technical assistance for your particular team might contain some or all of these components, depending on your circumstances and what you're interested in. And your TA coach is really going to be very responsive to each grantee team's unique needs and support you to meet your project goals and complete the grant requirements. So next, we can go to the next slide. I'm going to talk a little bit about the P&I, more about the P&I guide, the TA plans, and then I'll turn it over to Ernie to talk about some of our communities of practice. So, you can see here on this slide that focusing in a little bit more on the P&I guide, the planning and implementation guide, this is a really helpful tool that was created for several reasons. For most important, it was created to support you all, the grantees, in terms of thinking through all aspects of your program planning to develop and refine your initiative, right? So it was also created to it certainly was not a tool created for one person to complete alone in a room somewhere. It's definitely, a collaborative process. And it's really a great way to foster discussion on best practices, to identify considerations for your collaborations, to help you work through key decision-making points in the planning and implement, and, to take a look at potential implementation challenges you might face or you think you might face. Every jurisdiction has them. So, so we are used to trying to help work through those with jurisdictions. It also, helps you to understand the status and the progress of your project, the types of challenges you might be encountering, what's working well, as well, and what are some highlightable aspects of your work, and the ways that it's a very helpful tool for the TA coach as well, because through the process of the guide, they will help understand your work better and, help to see how they can be most helpful to you in making, helping your project be successful. So as you can see on this slide, the P&I guide is divided into 7 different topical sections. Each section, really, again, ranges through like all aspects of your project work. Each section has questions, exercises, discussion prompts, and these exercises are built on evidence-based practice principles and emerging practices. And so, as you work through the guide, you'll be prompted to, to write short responses, maybe attach some documents at times, and complete exercises. And so again, your answers on this guide will help illuminate strengths and also areas that you might want to enhance or try to figure out. So, discussion of this P&I guide is really a primary focus of TA calls during the planning phase. And again, your TA coach is really there to be a resource to you, to help support your planning processes. The planning process can take up to a year after your budget is approved, although sometimes grantees want to start earlier. So we can answer any questions that people might have about that. But, and, again, your TA, there's different strategies people take in completing the guide. Some teams want to work section by section and then get feedback from the TA coaches. Other times teams want to complete a whole draft of the guide and then, send that over to the TA coach and then go through that whole draft together. Either way, there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever will work best for your team. And, your TA coach will work with you together to figure out the plan that's going to be the best way that you all want to proceed in completing the guide. And also I just want to encourage you all to see your TA coach as a resource. As you go through this guide, you might come upon questions that, you hadn't considered before, or areas that you'd like to learn more about. Your TA coach is really there as a resource. You can ask the TA coach, say, hey, I'd like some more information on sustainability strategies, or I'd like some resources on best practices for co-response, or coding, data after mental health calls for service. I mean, any number of topics, right? So we really encourage you to don't be shy about your your requests. Ask your TA coach for assistance and for resources and supports, and they'll be happy to provide them for you. Next slide. Okay, so the last section in the P&I guide, the 7th section, is actually around the development of TA plans. And so it's a pretty short section, but it contains questions that will help you develop your technical assistance plan, or what we call TA plan for short. And so as you're working on that particular section, we really would like you and your team to reflect on any areas of program development where you'd be interested in receiving additional technical assistance, taking a little bit of a deeper dive. This could literally be any piece of your work, or it could be more of a systems area, like considering your whole jurisdiction. Connect and Protect and JMHCP are very systems focused grant awards. But, for example, in the past, people have said, we really would like to, learn more about training options for our staff, officer wellness. We want to consider, sustainability strategies, or, how can we best collaborate with our behavioral health provider on co-response? I mean, there's, the topics are limitless, but, as you go through this section, you and your team will work with the TA coach to develop, goals that you want to work on through the TA process as you move forward, action steps, and just ways to highlight unique aspects of your work. So this is the TA plan is an ongoing, it's a living document. Your TA coach will be writing it up. Don't worry, you don't have to do all that, but through your discussions that you and the TA coach will figure out areas of focus, and you'll just revisit that throughout the life of the grant. And again, this is all focused on trying to provide the best technical assistance that will support your team and your interest areas and the needs of your grant project. Okay, so I think next we can go to the next slide, and I'll turn it over to Ernie to talk about our communities of practice.
Yeah, so we do have what we call community of practices, and this is where you would join basically a webinar where we would have experts come in and cover a topic, right? Strategies to implement racially equitable PMHC response and address civil rights concerns. That's been a topic, right? That's been one that we've identified with the BJA, and that's been one that we've designed to be a community of practice this year. So it's something to get ahead of the game, to make sure that you don't encounter some of these questions down the line. I would definitely encourage everybody to sign up and get signed up as soon as possible for the community of practices when we announce that we're about to have one. Another community of practice, using data and evaluation to conduct uniform program evaluations for quality improvement. We talked about that a little bit in the general opening there, about you should always be trying to improve your program. And then also developing sustainable funding plans, because I know a lot of agencies and organizations either use grant funding or have used the ARPA dollars to start up these types of programs and initiatives. But when those ARPA dollar funds run out, then what, right? When the grant funds run out, then what, right? So you need to make sure that we are helping you build a sustainable plan to continue the growth and sustainability of your program. Next slide. Behavioral, the newsletter there, are we talking much about that, about what we're doing each month, Allison?
Just, really just to encourage everyone to sign up if you haven't already done so for this newsletter. I don't know, Eunice, maybe if you could chat out the link, I should have asked you this ahead of time, but this is a great resource. It will not overwhelm your inbox, don't worry. But this, through this website, we provide information about new resources that are coming out that would be of interest to you. We provide information about upcoming trainings, webinars that either we're hosting or hosted by BJA or key partners. We also feature new funding opportunities. So when new solicitations come out, those are included in the newsletter. So, again, you won't get tons and tons of emails, but it's a really great way to just keep abreast of developments in the field, funding opportunities and training opportunities. So just encourage you to sign up. You can also, I think when you sign up, you can select different interest areas, so you can customize announcements that you get, but just really strongly encourage you to do that if you haven't done so already. It's you can find it on our website, csgjusticecenter.org.
Yeah, and I know we're about to jump into the Q&A part, but I do want to give a shout out to my team. You're going to be introduced to your coaches here very soon, and I've got 3 of the best coaches in the world. Like, I wouldn't trade them for anybody. These coaches have seen it all and done it all. So there will not be something that you come up against that will trip you up, and then you think, where do we go from here? Right? You may use a data warehousing software company, and then all of a sudden a year from now they pull out and go bankrupt, and now you're stuck. Well, you're not stuck, because you have a great TA coach that's going to show you how to navigate that. Things that you might want to think of to get ahead of the game, right? We've seen difficulty in just hiring staff, right? Social workers they're hard to find. So start chumming the waters right now with some good bait to try to bring them in, because this is where you're going to have your shortfalls. And for those of you that are on this call that are social workers or work in behavioral health, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for dedicating your career and your education to this field, because like I tell them, your ship has come in. You did not get into social work to get rich. You did this to help people. But now law enforcement has come to the realization that this is not their world of expertise, and they need you, and they're ready to partner now, finally. So this is an opportunity for us to all get on the same page and help our community. So to everybody in the behavioral health world that's on this call, thank you for your service. Allison, I'll turn it to you. I guess we're ready for Q&A.
Yeah, we can go to the next slide. So I just encourage everyone again to put any questions into the chat box, and people also can certainly, we'll go through that first, and then happy to have people unmute themselves and talk to. We have a smaller group here now, but so yeah, so there's a first question on our TA coaches assigned by geographic proximity. For example, a TA coach works with New York City, New Jersey State, and Perth Amboy. I was curious about, I have to say, I'm excited to work with all the grantees, but I happen to live, I think, 2 towns over from Perth Amboy. So I'm familiar with Perth Amboy. Actually, we take a lot of factors in, but we have always had multiple, we're a national organization, so we have had multiple offices open around the country, and even more so after the since the pandemic, we have people working remotely all over the country. So we actually don't typically assign, I mean, that's an interesting question. We don't routinely assign people by TA coaches by geographic proximity. Sometimes it works out that way. But we also take into account a lot of times grantees who, teams who have had one award would like to have the same TA coach for another award. So we take that into account. We also take into account people's areas of expertise and what might be a good fit, for working with a particular grant project. And sometimes it works out geographical, but we also do a really good job. We're a team that we work together. So for example, if you work with a TA coach that isn't necessarily in that geographical area, but we have other TA coaches that are, they will coordinate and collaborate. And sometimes, another TA coach could come on a call if that would be helpful, et cetera. So I don't know, Ernie, if you have anything you wanted to add to that, but.
You are in good hands. You are not in trouble. We got you covered. I promise you. We were going to take care of you. Who else has a question? Come on. This is your chance.
Quiet group today. I don't know.
They know everything's going to be just fine. Well, I will say this while we're waiting for a question to come in. I am super stoked about the position y'all are in. When I left law enforcement, we were just getting up and running with co-response and adding medics to the teams. And it was a very exciting time in law enforcement, especially during a time that was known as the quote unquote great resignation, right? I didn't buy into that because communities need our help. And for those that have stepped up and found I call it the sexy of mental health now in law enforcement, thank you. Because it's not all about SWAT and kicking doors, it's about truly connecting and helping people and empathy. And for every time we get to help a grantee, I just catch fire because I see that excitement that what y'all want to do in your communities and connect and help and grow and bridge that gap is just so exciting for me. And to do it at the national level where I get to travel all over the place and meet different people and look at different systems. Man, this is a dream come true. So I'm truly envious of each and every one of you on this call.
Thanks, Ernie, for saying that. I might jump into the.
Oh, Maria, hi. Yes.
But thanks for saying that, and I'll just echo that. When across the country, when the last couple of years, there's been just things have happened. It's been challenging. It's been really challenging times for law enforcement, but every time there was a it was a negative news story, I mean, JMHCP just shined. I mean, we just shine. I could counter every single one with best practice and people doing extraordinary work in their communities. And the whole idea of service. And it was, I could counter every single one. I mean, JMHCP and Connect and Protect were two of the programs where our people were just wonderful. And so I'll just say that, and skilled and professional and just subject matter experts across the board. And then I'll also say that I get the behavioral health newsletter because I like to have all that information that's packed in that newsletter. It's wonderful. I approve it. And then a couple of weeks later, I forgot what was in it. So I have to read so much good stuff in there.
Oh my gosh. I see that someone had their hand raised.
Okay.
Yeah, Robin.
Yes, please go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hey everybody. Glad to be here. Robin Goff. I'm the Director of Community Justice for Volunteers of America in Maine. A couple of my colleagues are on the call. We're partnered with Sheriff Pokey, Knox County Sheriff's Office in Maine here. I don't have a question, and we are not a quiet group. We are just so excited as well. We want to say to get started and working with our TA provider. I feel really fortunate to be working with Knox County Sheriff's Office and our neighbor Waldo County Sheriff's Office. So we're already, have this regional approach going the last couple of years, and launched a diversion program and deflection the last couple of years too. But we are in the infancy stages of that, and are really excited about this grant and the expertise that you guys are going to bring to the table to help us fill gaps and kind of push forward what we've gotten started here. So
Robin, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We're looking forward to working with your team and every team. I have to say, I'm also working on an earlier JMHCP award with the Maine Department of Corrections. So, right. So excellent that you're representing Maine. Yeah, so okay, so thank you. And I don't see any other questions. If you have another question, please chat it in quickly because we're coming to the end of our time.
Well, hold on, Allison, you missed that question. It asked if I've ever been to Louisiana.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I'm ready for some gumbo, man. Come on, Captain Kelly.
So I guess that's a yes, you'd like to visit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the invite anytime.
Nice. All right, it's happening. We're going to take the gumbo and the barbecue tour. How about that?
Gumbo and then hot sauce.
Yes,
Can't forget my people down in the valley down there. Read all that. So there you go. I'll see you down there, James.
Excellent. All right, so maybe we can just, if people have questions still, we have a couple more minutes, but while we're waiting for any additional questions, let's just flip through to some, some webinars we wanted to just remind you about and some resources. So first of all, again, Sarah mentioned this earlier, but next Wednesday, December 7th, we have part 2 of this orientation webinar. This is going to be focused on program management, performance measurement. This is a really important webinar. It's a requirement. So please, 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 if you haven't already done so, make sure you register to attend that webinar and mark it on your calendars. And then very interestingly, it's hard to think about fiscal year 2023, fiscal year 23, when we're just starting with fiscal year 22, but it's great that BJA is releasing some solicitations for actually for next year's cohort. So we wanted to alert everyone to that. We're going to be doing solicitation webinars in January. You can see for both JMHCP and the fiscal year 23 Connect and Protect. So you can see here the date for the is January 11th for a discussion around the solicitation for fiscal year 23 JMHCP. And then on the next slide, we have a date for on the 12th for responding to the solicitation, the fiscal year 23 solicitation for Connect and Protect. So more funding opportunities available. We encourage you to tell your colleagues about these awards, to attend if you have any interest or think you might have any interest in responding. Make sure you attend these webinars because you'll be able to find out all about them. We will record them, but it's also great to attend live because representatives from BJA will be on the calls and are able to take your questions live. So that's a great opportunity. And I think we touched earlier about when the TA coach first call will be, but I also noticed somebody else had their hand up. I can't see the people who have their hand up, so I'm not sure if they if someone else can.
McLaren, is that right?
Yes, hi guys, I'm Cheryl
Hi.
from the NYP.
Hi.
Hi, just a quick question that I just saw these solicitation
Mhm.
meetings. So if we are a current awardee for 22, do you know if there's any restrictions about applying for the following year? And also, you know, we could also apply for the Justice and Mental Health Collaboration, right? Even if we're awardee for Connect and Protect.
Maria, do you want to field that one or?
Yeah, absolutely. You can apply again to Connect and Protect. You can apply to JMHCP. Yeah, you can apply to both programs. As long as, you know, they're different programs that hopefully complement each other and not be, that's probably the key thing.
Great, thanks, Maria. And if we can go through the next slide. So these are some, you know, key resources that Ernie mentioned in the first part of the webinar, right? The PMHC toolkit and also our law enforcement mental health learning sites. We have hyperlinked to these. So when you have access to the slides, you'll be able to just quickly, you know, link to them if you're interested in more further information. And next slide. Just here's our contact information also. So you'll have that as well. And, you know, we really encourage you to reach out if you have any additional questions. Again, you know, some of us will be on the webinar next week, so you'll see us again there. And we will post these recordings and slides in the very near future on our website. I don't see any other, I know we're actually like a minute or two over time, so I don't see any other questions. So I just want to say, again, we just want to say thank you so much to everyone for your participation today. We're excited to work with you and congratulations again on your award. And Ernie and Maria, I don't know if you want to say anything before we wrap up.
I'll just say my coaches are ready to help. They're excited. They're fired up. So get ready.
And we're here to support you and we want you to be successful and we'll do anything we can to make sure that you're successful. Thank you.
Are the coaches reaching out, emailing us?
Yes. Yeah, they will be reaching out in the next few weeks to introduce themselves and to congratulate you also, and to then work to schedule your first technical assistance call.
And who are they going to reach out to?
They will reach out to whoever the official point of contact through BJA is. That's our first way we'll reach out. So
before we then figure out who the actual project managers are, right?
Yes, so that point of contact should be able to tell us like all the folks who would be on the first call and to work out all those details.
Wonderful.
I don't know,
Thank you.
Maria, if you have anything else to add on that, but is that?
Yeah, it all runs off of, you know, who the names are and just grants, like, you know, the authorizing project point of contact, fiscal manager, but usually there's a point of contact outside of authorizing officially, you know, somebody who's on the ground doing the work. But sometimes by the time, you know, CSG reaches out, it does have to kind of trickle down to the people with their hands on the work. But we have to start with who is actually officially on the paperwork. Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it for today. And, you know, again, congratulations and thank you so much for your participation today. And we look forward to working with you. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.